Today we have a 2005 4Runner. This is my daily driver car, and I noticed that here recently, whenever I brake, the steering wheel is a little bit wobbly. It's not braking smooth and even. They're all an indication that the brake pads are wearing out and possibly the rotors. So today we're going to replace the front brakes on this 4Runner. We're going to upgrade the brakes, the front brakes of the 4Runner with a Power Stop Extreme Z36. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do this is because they come with carbon and ceramic pads, and they also have the slotted rotors, and I want to see how they work. They're supposed to last a little longer and be a little bit smoother. Alright, so one of the first things we want to do is expose the brake caliper so it'll make it easier to work. So I am going to turn the wheel all the way to the left, and in this way I'm going to be exposing the caliper on the passenger side. This is going to make it easier to work on and make all the bolting and everything just a little bit more accessible. Okay, now that we turn the wheels the way they need to be, I am going to unscrew the cap on the brake fluid reservoir. What this is going to do is going to allow the fluid from the brake to flow back into the reservoir. When we open the caliper and we push the cylinders back, that fluid is going to come back into this reservoir, and I don't think that we're going to need to, get any fluid out, but we're going to watch it and keep it monitored so we don't spill any. I'm going to loosen the lugs of the 4Runner. So lugs are loosened. So next what we're going to do is jack up the car. This is a little bit of a point of contention. When I started looking into it, Toyota will actually give you 3 points to jack this car up. One will be, and they usually prefer it to be straight from the frame. So they give you this point in here under the frame. Then they give you this point under the frame to lift. And then if you must, they give you this point under the frame. So you got basically 3 points that Toyota suggests. Here, here, and here. Now, a lot of people use that point to lift it, and Toyota doesn't really not recommend it. They just frown upon it because they say that the car could potentially roll if you use that point, even though that point is also efficient. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift it out of this point, and then I'm going to put the jacks right here to hold it up. So I'm going to leave the jack in position without any pressure, but I'm going to set it right here just in case that something will happen to the stand, and that's just to be safe. We can see now the tire is off the floor. So now that the tire is off the floor, you can see that it spins freely right there. We got it off the floor, we got it on stands, it's jacked up, the lugs are loosened. So now we're going to use a 13/16 hex socket. these guys somewhere where we can find them, and we're gonna remove the wheel. We got 2 clips here, 1 clip, 2 clips, and we got a third clip right here that's basically pushing the pads out. So let's see if we can take this out. We'll remove it from that hole. Pay attention that this little half moon is sitting on top of the pad clips. There. So now I'm going to take this clip off, and I'm going to keep them separated. I'm going to take the second clip off, and now I can remove the top. I can remove the bottom. Notice that the mushroom part is on the outside of the clip of the caliper. So we're going to try to keep the same orientation. And now this clip just comes right off. 1, piston 2, piston 3, and 4. So we're going to try to push this out a little bit so that we can remove these pads. I got a little tool here that will help me do that instead of using you know, screwdrivers and things like that. I'll put a part. It's not very expensive. It does help a lot in pushing these things out a little bit smoother. So there they are. They came right off. So now I'm going to take them out, and I am going to keep them in the same order as I take them out. I'm going to keep them separated so that I'll know when I put the new pads which order they go in. So here's 1, here's 2. So at this moment I realize that there's a 12mm bolt that holds the hydraulic hose bracket. So I called the Toyota dealership. They gave me a part number, and I installed the bolt when I put the brake back together. Now we're going to take our 17mm socket, and we're going to take this bolt out and this bolt out, which are the ones that are holding the caliper in place. So this one came off, and well, and this one came off. They're both the same size, but we're gonna keep them separate anyway. So when that happens, the whole caliper just comes right off. So we're gonna hang it right there. Alright, so one thing that I like about this upgrade is that when you open the box, it will actually help you. Like in the case of the rotors, it will actually tell you that this is the front passenger side. So that's how we know which one to put in. So before I'm taking it out, I wash my hands because I want it to be clean. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the rotor with some brake parts cleaner. Okay, and then when ready. Now before we do anything, we're going to hold them in place by using some of the lug nuts. That way we can position our caliper in place. Okay, just hand tight is good. And you can see how it spins pretty good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the caliper back in place. Okay. I'm going to make sure that these guys have at least 70 pounds. With my torque wrench. And they should, but better safe than sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to put the brake pads back in. And one of the things we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of brake lubricant, brake grease. And what that is going to do is going to help it brake a little bit smoother. Have to use the old pins. So what we're going to do is we're going to just lubricate them real good. Make sure they're nice and clean, or as clean as we can make them. And then I'm going to insert them. Okay. We're going to get it through there. Through. And here we're going to get it through. And there he went. Now we're going to go ahead and put this back where it goes. There. And we're going to do the same thing with this one. And here. Just a little bit of tension there. Pushing the pads back out. Now we're going to put the clips, the new clips, back in place. And now we put the other set of clips in here. So now that we're done, we're gonna go ahead and put the tire back on.
This is Mom's table.
And there you go.